Ross, congratulations.
Thanks.
I guess your thoughts on acquiring a guy who's obviously one of the best defensive players in the league, adding to this infield.
Yeah, it's exceptionally exciting. I think one of the highlights of my day was just seeing some of the looks on the faces in our clubhouse, just how excited our team is to be adding someone of that caliber with his reputation. Obviously a very good fit for us, and and speaking with him, hearing his excitement to come into this environment, the positivity around our group, how much they care about one another, and being so excited about this addition is what's been the highlight of my day.
We obviously have seen the numbers offensively have declined over the last few seasons. What in the vetting process did you see that leaves you hopeful that he can return to being that MVP caliber guy?
He's so well-rounded and such a good player with such a good track record, extremely durable. He's just played constantly, and he's always making an impact. I feel, last year we saw him a good bit, and when I didn't want to see him hitting, so I know that against us. So I still feel like he's a very viable offensive threat with a big-time threat on both sides of the ball, and that's hard to find.
Russ, when did you first touch base with Oakland? When did you find out he was available? How did it kind of evolve once the lockout ended?
I mean, it's like two series of conversations because of, the first round and then the second round of conversations. And then as soon as it opened back up, we were back in contact. And over the last couple of days, it was, we narrowed in on those conversations.
What, you gave up Gunnar Hoagland, obviously a guy who could have gotten in the top 10. I mean, what do you think you're giving up in those players?
I mean, I really do hope a lot. I hope we're getting a lot. So I hope it ends up being a baseball deal. It definitely stings to give up that much talent, and I hope that it goes exceptionally well for each of those four individuals and exceptionally well for Oakland. Very confident it's going to go well for us as well.
Where do you sit with the system looking at it now? The Barrios trade, this trade. Are you comfortable still making these types of trades?
We feel like the top of our system's pretty well intact, and some really good players that can make an impact in the short term and long term, and also have a great deal of confidence in our scouting departments to continue to fulfill it. We've seen across the industry, and we've seen it here too, with we're just better and better at helping players improve. Whether that be from 16-year-old acquisitions to 28-year-old acquisitions, the ability to find opportunities with players to help them close gaps. The entire industry is better at it, and we feel like we're more equipped to do it as well, which is certainly a weapon. We've seen just from this year's draft class, the impact that player development and performance has had on them has been remarkable. So confident that will continue as well to help supplement some of those gaps.
Ross, in your metrics and the way you examined the defensive performance you got from third base and the left side infield, what did that reveal to you about what you needed to do, and what does Chapman shore up, and specifically kind of how does he address some of those things?
Yeah, I mean, we asked a lot of guys last year, especially Kevin Biggio. I think, asking him to play third base, we knew it was a lofty ask, and man, did he give it an incredible run. And SB's been great for us bouncing around and filled in pretty well for us there. And now having someone that as accomplished as Matt Chapman to really stabilize that side of the infield, I think will be great for Bo. I think it'll be great for those that are going to be getting second base opportunities, and really will help us have a much more well-rounded defense. But exceptionally excited about seeing him on that side of the diamond for us.
From an offensive standpoint, the power obviously plays. There's some OBP in there, a bit of walk. What element does he bring, and how does that alter your lineup?
It really is a good compliment. I mean, the plate discipline, the power, I think he's going to thrive in our lineup. We're excited about getting to know him and asking questions and seeing things that have really helped him be consistent in the past, and we're exceptionally confident that he's going to be, as I said, just a very well-rounded player and not just an idle threat, but a significant threat on both sides.
Ross, how do you feel about the roster as a whole now? Are you still being aggressive out there, or are you happy with the way things are?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how I can't imagine trying harder. And so, like, in terms of aggressiveness, like we are, maybe you can tell by my eyes that, it's around the clock, and we're spending a lot of time and energy on ways to make our team better, and if that means in incremental ways or significant ways, we want to make sure that we can present those opportunities to, to ownership and our group. But having said all that, we feel very good about where we are. We feel like we've put ourselves in a good position. We have a really good foundation. Feel good still about our farm system as well. So if there's ways to incrementally improve, we'll look to do that, and we're still open to ways, whether that be today or 2 months from now, to make more than an incremental change.
Yesterday you said it was likely that you're going to add a position player. Do you think it's likely that you'll add another one?
It's obviously the potential to complement our offensive roster is still there. Feel good about internal pieces, and there's a lot of talk about the right-handed nature of our lineup. We're mostly focused on acquiring good players, and if the left-handed version is better than the right-handed version that we have, then we have to consider that. But do feel good about where we've gotten to.
In terms of the impact that Chapman can make on guys like Bo and the rest of your infield lad as well, do you see it similarly to how Simeon helped them both on the field and off the field?
Yeah, I think so. I think just based on what he's done in his career, what we've learned about him, I can say this. I know that our players are going to be excited to talk to him and to learn from him, and I think it's going to go both ways. I think Matt will come in extremely open-minded and excited about this opportunity, excited about tapping into the resources here. So he was really, really excited at an emotional time at a place he's been for a long time, drafted there, came up there, has had a star caliber impact to that organization, and was respectfully excited to be coming here while respectful of where he's been.
Is he en route now? Do you think he'll be here
Tomorrow? I think tomorrow, all things, that's the plan right now.
Ross, from your experience,
He'll be here at some point, but I don't know if he'll be available to everyone tomorrow.
Ross, from your experience, when you get an elite third baseman, what does that do for the confidence of your pitching staff?
Yeah, it definitely helps. I think it helps everyone. It helps infielders. It helps the timing of whether it's double plays or stolen bases, or how it impacts where we're positioning people, where he can play. His range is so good, and throwing from just about any place on the diamond, really does change the way that you can position players. And I'm sure it's a very good feeling for Yunshin Ryu to look to his right and see, essentially a wall standing there. So.
I'm curious whether you reached out to Marcus Simeon and asked about Chapman.
We've had so many conversations in the past. I know they're exceptionally tight and fond of one another. I know that Marcus thinks the world of him. So not recently, but over the course of last year, we did have a lot of discussion about him.
You talked about making maybe incremental moves or big moves. Do you have anything that you would consider to be on the front burner right now?
No, nothing that is imminent or about to happen. It's really just thinking about, how we can improve on the run prevention side and on the run scoring side, and I alluded to that in talking about it with Gregor.
Ross, how did the fact you have the 2 comp picks coming up alter maybe your outlook on subtracting from the farm system in terms of, and knowing that there's sort of replenishment coming?
Yeah, we don't want to be married to them, and that is obviously of some value, but it's like any other value. You want to understand what it means to your organization and factor it into any decision you're making.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.